Welcome, everybody. For our class today, we'll start with a little toga, and you'll just skip the iffy toes. Yeah, actually start on the good foot. So pick a foot, doesn't matter which, and you can sit any way that you like. I'm just up here so that you guys at home can see my foot a little more, and just give it a little dust off. And then spread out the toes really wide and leave your fingers in between the toes. It's like you're shaking hands with your foot. Yes. Do your left hand and start. Yeah, if you start on the pinky side, you'll have better luck.
But go in from the bottom.
Yeah, go in from the bottom. You can go in from the top, but it's pretty intense. And then from there, use your hand to just give the toes a little squeeze and release. Oh, gentle. Have you never done this before?
Yeah.
Oh, it's been a while.
I've slept.
Okay.
I've cleared my cache.
It's yeah. All right. And then just keep the hand in there, but relax that little squeezy action. And now use the toes to squeeze the fingers. So the toes are kind of going like that. Little toe workout. And then relax. Let's give the ankle a little stir. Sometimes you get some crackles. And then other way. And then pause, take your other hand and hold on the foot, and then you'll twist. One hand goes down, the other hand goes up, so that you're just kind of twisting the foot. Do that a few times. And you don't want it to happen from the ankle, you want it to happen from the foot itself. So, yeah. I'm gonna just show on the camera how that looks. So you go one way and the other way, yeah. But not that I was doing that kind of aggressively, but just for effect. Be gentle.
Don't try this at home.
Don't, yeah, be kind. All right, and then relax and spread out your fingers, which will spread out the toes, and then pull your hand out. Take each toe, give a little wiggle and a little pull, but don't yank it too hard, just gentle. All the way down. This little piggy did this and that. And then then take your thumbs on the ball of the foot and go from the middle of the foot out. So you trace this pattern. Yeah. Work your way down to the heel, and we'll take that pathway one more time. So from the top to the bottom. Yeah. And then very gently make loose fists with your hands and give the whole foot a little gentle pounding on all sides. Foot tenderizer here. All right. And then let's pause, put your 2 feet side by side and just have a peek. And see how the foot you've done is all fluffy and circulated, and the other foot's all kind of sad and blue, like literally blue. So we better do that one. I'm just gonna turn around here. So let's just pick up the other foot. You can take any handhold. I mean, you can take any seat, and the bottom leg can do whatever you want. You need to dust it off, give it a little dust, and then be gentle and just skip the toes that aren't gonna work for this. Yeah, just don't even bother with it. And then once you're in, use the hand to squeeze and release. And then you'll stay in there, relax the hand, and now use your toes to squeeze and release. That's it. And then pause, make some ankle circles. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Other way. And then let's take the other hand on the foot and very gently make a twisting sort of motion. Yeah. Okay, pause. Spread out your fingers, which will spread out the toes, pull the hand out. And then take your thumbs on the ball of the foot and go from the middle of the foot out. And and start to go down to the heel. And then once you reach the heel, we'll go again. Yeah, nice. And then after you've done that, give the whole foot just a little bit of a pound on all sides. Be kind to yourself with that. All right, and then that's that. Yeah, we have two fluffy feet, don't we? Amazing. All right, so now we'll just sit for a little bit, and I will sit in Virasana on the blocks. You could sit like that or sit cross-legged if that's better for you, or you could do one block low or two together or one medium size. Now, if you are sitting in Virasana, once you have figured out your props, come up for a second, take your hands right behind the knees, pull the calf flesh back and apart so there's a little more room for behind the knees. Yeah. And James, what you might do, actually that looks okay, does that feel all right?
Well, I'm not really.
Go
My
take
weight
the
is not
second,
on it.
that's okay, take the second block and stack them together so it's a little higher. Put the, flip it, no. Flip the bottom one, yeah, so it's like that. See if that works. Okay? No good.
Yeah.
Are you sure we're gonna be here for a bit? Yeah, just sit cross-legged.
Okay.
I think that would be better.
Yeah. All right, friends. And once you have your seat figured out, if you are sitting in Virasana, take your hands in loose fists and just scrape from the heels to the toes. If you're not, you can hold one hand on each foot and just give a little squeeze. Yeah. Now, if you're up really high and you can't reach on both sides, just go one side and then the other side. And go a little bit more to the inner foot, which is called the medial longitudinal arch. You don't have to remember, but it's fun to know these things. And then let the movement, let the hands relax, just let the hands rest on the legs. And take a nice, easy seat for yourself. Allow your eyes to close. Allow your face to relax. And right at the very base of your skull, lift slightly. And you might feel the chin relax and the jaw relax. And see if you can be completely present with yourself for the next 3 breath cycles. Here, and let the head bow down. You can let the eyes blink open. Let the background, let the pelvis tuck under. So you're in sort of like a cat back, if you're thinking cat-cow. Now to get out of this, bring your attention to the very tip of the tailbone. Start to draw the tailbone back as the pelvis starts to tilt forward. And then from bottom to top, very, very slowly, start to let the spine come into extension. So you've got a little bit of an arch going on through the back. The head is the last thing up. Then we're going to go again, leading with the tailbone. Let the tailbone start to tuck under. The pelvis will start to rock back. The lumbar spine will roll back. And then keep going until you get to the very top. And let's go again, starting at the bottom. The tailbone draws back, the pelvis tilts forward. See if you can come up slowly from the bottom to the top. The head will be the last thing to come up. And then starting at the bottom to round back down. All right, friends, just come back to neutral. Now, if you've been sitting cross-legged, take a second just with the other leg in front so that you get some time on the second side. Yeah. And then let's from here, just bring your arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers at the top, press up, and just take any kind of movement, maybe a little side bend. Yeah. And then if it feels good here to circle out the wrists, you can do that when the hands come back down. Okay, so we'll stretch out the legs a little bit from here. Let's come forward, just coming to all fours position. And take one leg back, tuck the toes under, and give yourself a little back and forth. And then you'll switch sides. And just do that a couple of times, alternating sides every so often. Great. And then we'll go back to child's pose for a second. Go up onto your fingertips just for a moment to give the hands a little break and also to engage through the wrists. So without moving your hands from where they are, try to scrunch up the mat. Let the palms lift and the wrists lift. Yeah, and then we'll set the hands back down. Let's come into your all fours position. And at first, just start to move your cat-cow the way you normally would. Getting some movement here through the spine. And that same sequential movement that we did sitting a second ago, we'll do here. So let's pause next time you're rounded in your cat pose. Begin at the tailbone. So let the tailbone start to draw down and then back. And then the pelvis will tip forward, the low back will start to regain its curve. Keep coming nice and slow, nice and slow. And then eventually here the head is the last thing. We're starting at the bottom to go back into cat. So the tailbone drops down, the pelvis tips, you'll lift up through the belly. It's kind of some deep core work. Keep coming until the very end of the line when the head drops down. And then start at the tailbone again. So take a few more rounds of this. Nice and slow. You might notice parts of the spine move very well, like individually, and then you'll get part of the spine that moves in a big chunk. Hopefully the whole thing doesn't move like a big chunk. All right. And then from here, let's come back just to neutral and then child's pose. This time, flip your hands over and give the fingers a little bit of just an in and out kind of movement here. Yeah, let's give the hands a break for a second, but we'll come back into this idea. Come forward and down onto your belly and scooch the legs back one at a time just to clear some room for the front of the hips. Let's fold your hands and just make a little pillow for your forehead. I'm going to keep my head up though so I can talk to you. Start at the very tip of the tailbone and we'll bring the tailbone down, but see if you can do it without squeezing around the tailbone, which means you'll have to engage through the lowest part of the belly. Yeah. And now this is a little bit of a different movement. So instead of going into cat pose, from here, start to let the spine lengthen and then eventually the head will lift, but we're still trying to move the tailbone towards the floor without squeezing around it. Yes, it's like a little mini cobra variation. And then just release to come back down. Let's do that 2 more times. So starting at the tailbone tilts down, the pelvis starts to tuck, and then from there, let the rest of the spine follow along so you come up a little bit. And down. Now let's go one more time. I also want to say this isn't always how I would recommend to do cobra, but for today, we've got this little theme going on. Yeah, and then once you're down again, just rest. Let's bend the knees. Give the legs a little swish from side to side. That's it. And then we'll put the legs back down. Let's press back, just go to child's pose for a second. And now we'll do cat-cow, but with a side bend. So come back up to center And let's walk the hands to the right. And the right hand, maybe the left hand too, will come off the mat. But keep the legs in the position that you set. And with the hands in this position, just start to move through something like cat-cow on the side. Yeah, you get a nice stretch through the left side of the body. And then guess what we're gonna do? Let's pause in the rounded cat position. Starting at the tip of the tailbone. Let the tailbone start to draw back and lift. The pelvis will tilt, the low back will start to move into the body. And then let the head be the last thing to arrive. And then we'll go back the way we came, starting at the tailbone. So the tailbone comes down, the low belly lifts, maybe a little more on the left side. And then keep coming until eventually the head lowers down. Let's do one more round of that, both directions. Nice and slow. See if you can really articulate through each vertebra in the spine, which is not easy to do. And then come back to neutral, walk the hands back to center. Let's just go back for a brief child's pose. If you want to, you can have the toes tucked under just for a little something different. And you know, while we're here, might as well do this one. And James, you skip this if it's no good on the toes. Walk the hands back to the knees and then come sit on the heels. Okay? Don't push it. Yeah. All right. Then if you're still with me here, shift back a little bit and walk the knees now forward, and that'll stretch a different section of the toes. It's pretty intense, isn't it? Yeah. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Let's come out of that, hands down. Just shake out the feet for a second. And then we've got the other side. So walk the hands over to the left. You choose how far you go, but try to keep the legs and even the pelvis more or less in neutral. And then just start to move through cat-cow on the side. Start with a rather, not a fast movement, but a little faster than we will go in a second. Yes, friends, let's pause in the rounded position. Starting at the tip of the tailbone, let the tailbone drop back and start to lift. The pelvis will tilt, the low back will drop down, and then the upper back, and the head is the last thing. The tailbone drops down first. It requires a quite large lift through the low belly. And then piece by piece, we will start to round. The head is the last thing to drop. Let's take it one more time, each direction. Of course, now we're almost done. I should have said this. Mary, you probably figured it out. On one side, you might go further than the other, just to stretch out the tight side and to not overstretch the side that's already stretched. All right, friends, let's come back to center. Yeah, and go to child's pose again. You can do whatever you want with the feet. Let's keep the arms forward. And then we'll walk the arms just a little further forward. Press into the floor. Let's round up first through cat pose. And then keep coming forward. This time let's go from the head. So the head lifts, the pelvis comes forward, elbows bend, and from bottom to top we lower down onto the belly. Yeah. Stay on the belly, lift the chest just a little bit. One shoulder does a roll, other shoulder does a roll. Take that alternating sides back and forth a couple of rounds. And then let's pause. Press up through the middle, any size cobra here. And from there, let's head into downward facing dog. Go ahead and just get there. It might feel nice to move a little bit. You can pedal the legs. You can turn your head back and forth. You could lift one leg off the floor and then the other. Yeah. And then let's settle in your down dog. Bend the knees a little bit and keep them bent. Try to press the mat forward so your hips drop back away from the wrist creases. And then from there, slowly start to go straighter in the legs without coming forward in the pelvis. All right, and then let's bend the knees again, just a little bit this time. Take the feet wide, and we'll walk the hands back, heading to the back of the mat, and just prop yourself up, forearms to the thighs. First, let's just come into kind of a lengthened spine. So draw the chest forward, and then guess what we're gonna do? From the tip of the tailbone, lower the tailbone down, pelvis will tuck under, the belly will lift, the head will drop, and end up in that cat back. Now start at the tip of the tailbone to undo. Draw the tailbone back and up. The pelvis will tilt, the lumbar spine will drop down. Keep coming until the head is the last thing. Let's go one more time each way. So the tailbone starts the movement. And then going back the other way, the tailbone starts the movement. Oh. All right, root down through the legs. Inhale all the way up, we stand, lift the arms, lengthen. Release the arms here, and then we'll stand and be kind of wide in your stance and just do a standing slither asana. This is like a real pose now, isn't it? We do it all the time. All right, guys. So from your position here, let's head to the front of the mat. Oh, sorry, you're at the back. Just come to the front, it's fine. And then root down through the legs. Inhale the arms up overhead. And then we'll take the hands to prayer, bend the knees, shift the hips back, and come into chair with prayer. Yeah. Now, as you're in this position, lift up the toes for a second, spread them out wide, shift back a little bit more. And then try to, as you set the toes down, do that without shifting forward and keep the toes relaxed. Let's take another breath in. As you exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana, and then we'll take a half lift. Inhale, we lengthen. On the way down, walk back to plank pose, and we'll stay for a moment. Anybody who's not planking, you can just come to all fours position. If you are in plank, pay attention to your feet and just give a little push forward and then a little pull back. Do that a few times. A little extra stretch in the toe hinge and a little more time in plank. Yeah. And then let's pause when the soles of the feet are straight up and down. James, can you lift the head just a little bit? Shift the shoulders forward just a little bit. Yeah, there it is. All right, friends, let's put the knees down nice and easy. And then come all the way down to the belly. Let the belly touch the floor. That's it. And then we'll give the hands another break here. Stretch the arms back with the thumb tips on the floor, a little bend in the elbows. Lift the front of the shoulders away from the floor. Come up just slightly. Keep the upper back engaged as you lift the legs, and then lift the arms and go straighter in the arms. Great. So gaze is down, maybe slightly forward, but don't look all the way forward. Right, when you come down, just turn your head to one side. And we'll do that a few more times. So the front of the shoulders lift, keep that, and then lift everything else, the arms, the legs, the head. And down we go, turn the head the other way. Let's take just one last one here. Front of the shoulders lift, and then the rest of your limbs lift. Great. Stay up for a second, bend the elbows, put the hands just under the shoulders. Let's go back to child's pose, toes tuck under. Be really active in the upper body. Lift the knees off the floor, keep them bent for a second. Press the mat forwards and the hips back. And slowly start to let the legs go straighter, coming into our downward facing dog. All right, from your down dog, let's meet in a standing forward fold, any way you want to do it. Root down to rise up. Inhale, all the way up we come. Exhale, release the arms. Okay, so we're going to stretch out the calves with your blanket roll. So go get something that you can roll. If you're at home and you don't have a blanket, you could use bath towels. They work great for this. Also, if you would like a thicker roll, you could roll your mat over your blanket if you wanted to. Great. All right, let's have the blocks handy in the front. We won't get there right away, but we will soon enough. And we'll stand off to the side so that your left foot is just on the floor next to the mat. And then the right foot goes up on the roll, toes up, but heel down on the floor. Yeah. Now some of us, this is plenty. Some of us will need more. You can step the left foot forward. However, you don't want to be so far forward that you're falling over. So just enough. Yeah. And then once you're in position here, just take a little shift of your pelvis from right to left or left to right. Yeah. This one never gets old, does it?
No,
Yeah.
if you did it every day, it wouldn't be so bad.
It's true. If you did it every day, it would be a little easier. But do we do it?
Who thinks it is?
Thanks,
Yeah, right. Okay, now let's pause next time you're right in the middle. And we'll take a twist of the pelvis. So let's move the right half of the pelvis forward and the left half back. And just let the chest come with you. Yeah. Now for most of us, this will give you more stretch. Let's go the other direction. So move the right pelvis back, left pelvis forward. Some of us get more this way. Let's go just slowly, alternating sides. Yeah. And then when you find a position that feels like you want to stay for a little bit, just hold in that spot. Now, likely the right foot, the foot up there on the roll, it gets kind of grippy in the front of the ankle and the top of the foot. Just ask that part of the foot to relax. Now take the outer right hip and just draw it in towards the midline. Yeah, and that should give you a little extra juice. Yeah, just a little bit. Okay. Then from here, let's put the torso back to center, the pelvis back to center. Bend both knees slightly. It'll be awkward. And as you do, bring the pelvis back slightly. Yeah. Let's take both hands to the right thigh, just above the knee. And very slowly, without hyperextending the knee, start to let the right leg go straighter. Yeah. Oh. Now, if this is feeling okay and going lower is tolerable, you could, or you could put your hands on the blocks. We'll be here for a little bit. If coming down to the floor is an option, fine, but don't go right there. Just go gradually. Oh, yeah. Now, let's pause. When you get to a position you can stay in for a moment. And now that we're down, let's take our pelvis, the shifts right, left a couple of times. It'll be different now that we're down. Oh, yeah. Pause in the middle. And now take the twist. So one half forward, the other half back, and then the other direction. Super awkward, super awkward. Great. I think the other day we did this with 2 feet up on the roll, coming down, but now we just got the 1. All right, let's pause. Step a little bit to the left, so the right foot can come down. Just bring yourself upright. You okay? Great. Let's take a little, just walk all the way around the mat to get to the second side and feel the difference. Amazing. That's a yoga miracle. Yeah, so let's do side 2. Left foot goes up there, heel down, toes up. Right foot possibly steps forward. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Just depends on your leg and what's going on today. Yeah, and then once you are settled, let's move the pelvis right, left. A couple of times, side to side. Oh. Now, whatever side I'm currently on seems to be the tighter one. Anybody else?
Yeah.
All right. Now, let's pause when you're in the center, and we'll take our twist. Left pelvis forward, right pelvis back. And then the right one forward, the left one back. You know what I mean. We've got one pelvis, but there's 2 halves. Now, of these 2 directions, find the one that's feeling like it's giving you the most amount of benefit, and I'll just leave that open to interpretation. Take the outer left hip and draw it in towards the midline of the body. Yeah. Our body knows all the escape routes. And sometimes it's sneaky like that. It'll let the hip jut out to get less stretch. All right. Stay on the roll, but recenter yourself so your body is facing forward. Slight bend in the both knees. Slight shift back in the pelvis, and start with the hands on the left leg just above the knee, and very slowly start to go straighter, but don't hyperextend the knees. You don't want to shove the knee back. Oh, yeah. And then once you find a tolerable spot, maybe you slide down lower. Maybe you put your hands on blocks, on the floor. Go through it gradually, though, whatever you're doing. Once you find a spot that you can stay for a little bit, let's take our right, left shift. Ooh. There might be smoke coming out my ears. I'll have to watch the video later. And then pause in the middle, and let's do our twist, which, yes, will be kind of awkward. Yeah. Okay. And then let's pause, come off of the roll, just stand upright. Okay, we're gonna come back, but let's take another little walk, just walk around your mat. Okay, good. So let's keep the roll rolled, and we'll actually now turn the other direction, and you'll put the right heel on the roll. Yeah, or James, you can just actually bring the roll towards the back of the mat. And then once you're there, the heel is up on the roll. The toes are angled about 1 o'clock. Hands to the hips. Let's step the left leg forward. You can take a couple steps to get there. So it's coming into something like Warrior One, but let's start with both legs straight. Now really press the right heel down into the roll. And as you do that, you might feel a little residual lifting sensation. Now you will kind of back off for a second. Let's bend the left knee, but as you do, let the torso bow forward a little bit. At the tops of both thighs, draw back, and also think of at the tops of the thighs pressing apart, going wider. Yeah, let's keep that idea. And then lift up through the pit of the abdomen as we start to come up more in the torso. Keep the back heel really pressing. Now, if anyone's getting a pinching sensation in the lower back, just stay slightly forward. Don't come all the way up. Once you're in position, let's stretch the right arm straight up and continue to press the right heel down. Yeah. Are you getting that nice pull on the front of the right leg? Awesome. Me too. All right. Let's take the left arm up to join. And here we are in a variation of Warrior One. We'll just hold for a little bit. To get out, let's inhale. And then on the exhale, just step forward, release the pose, and we'll go for side two. So come on back. Left heel goes up on the roll, angle the leg about foot 11 o'clock, hands to hips, and right leg steps forward. Just take a couple tries. And then once you're in position, go both legs straight. Press the left heel down and try to press it back. Yeah. And then we'll back out a little bit for this next bit. Bend the right knee slightly and let the torso shift forward a little bit. At the tops of the thighs, draw back on both sides. And also at the tops of the thighs, widen, press apart. And try to keep that idea. Back heel continues to press down as we bring the torso up to center. Again, if you need to stop at more of a diagonal, that's fine. Let's stretch the left arm straight up. Continue to press the left heel straight down. Oh, yeah. And then the right arm comes up to join. And here we are in this funny version of Warrior One pose. Let's take one more breath in. On the exhale, step forward. And that's that. Great. So let's take the roll out, but keep it rolled because we'll use it for something else later. Just put it to the side. We'll do these poses again in a second without the roll. So let's come stand at the front of your mat. Feet can be together or a bit apart, your choice. Root down through the feet, use the inhale to rise. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, down we go, forward fold, maybe bend the knees if you need. Inhale, halfway up. And then let's go back to plank pose. Actually, plank to the belly, because we're gonna set up a really fun forearm plank sequence. Are you so excited for this? Yeah. All right, so let's set up the elbows under the shoulders. You can have palms down. For me, it's a little more comfortable to have fingers interlaced. You decide. And let's start here, just relax. Now, similarly to what we did earlier, bring the tailbone towards the floor and start to lift up through the belly. For this one though, let the head bow down, so it's more of a cat back. The pelvis will lift a little bit, but we're still on the knees, still on the thighs. And it should already be work. And then relax and come down. Great. So James, watch me for a second before we go again. Look at my spine here. So I'm going up like this. Earlier we did more of this one, but this one's more of a rounded position. All right, so let's go again, same exact thing. Start at the tip of the tailbone, let it draw down, lift up through the belly, lift up through the back. The head is a little bit lower. And if you're like me, maybe you're trembling. All right, we're gonna come back down, rest. Yeah. Now I'm going to do 2 more progressions of this, but feel free to stick with this one if you desire. So I'll start the same way. The tailbone moves down, the low belly moves up. You start to round, the back lifts away from the floor. Now if you're continuing on, go up onto the knees and let the pelvis lift more so that the thighs come up. The head is still dropped down. And let's give the forearms a little press down and also a little press forward. And we'll stay for a little bit. Yeah. To get out, you just gently bring yourself back down. All right, we do the same version one more time. So starting same beginning. Let the tailbone move down, the pelvis tuck under a little, the belly lift, the back start to lift, the spine comes up. If you're still coming with, lift the pelvis, so you're on the knees and the forearms. And it looks like nothing, but it's something, isn't it? All right, come down, relax. We have one more, but just really relax. Yeah, do nothing for a second. Okay. Now, if you think you want to do the next one, let's start with the toes tucked under, but we'll do the same beginning portion that we've already done. So from there, as you're ready, let the tailbone move down, the belly lift up. From bottom to top, we start to lift. And here we are on the knees. Now, let's just straighten the right leg. And put it down, straighten just the left leg. And put it down to the right side again. Keep it up. Stretch the left leg to straight, so now they're both up. Forearms are pressing down and forward. The back is a little bit rounded. And you're working pretty hard, aren't you? All right, let's put the knees down. Rest. Only one more of those. Okay. If you've had your fingers interlaced, why not change the interlace? Give yourself a moment for the second side. All right, same starting position. So let the tailbone move down, the low belly draw in and up. The pelvis tucks, the back starts to round. Also, not always how I would have you do plank, but for this version, here we are. And maybe you go up onto the knees. If you're still coming, tuck the left toes under, lift just the left one. And then put it down, do the right one. I'm nearly done. And down, left side again. Keep it straight, right side up too. Here we are, and hold and hold and hold. Yogis. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's come down and just rest. Yeah. Rest the forehead on the hands. Maybe move your head side to side. Maybe windshield wiper the legs. Well, that was fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. And then to get out of it, let's head into downward dog and just do anything you want for a second within down dog. Let's actually, I'm going to add in another calf stretch. So once you're in down dog, step the right foot just barely forward, like an inch or two, and try to go as straight as you can in the right leg and let the left knee bend. Now, like we did on the roll, let your pelvis shift a little bit right and left, back and forth. Yeah. And then pause, reset, right foot a little back, left foot a little forward. Sink the left heel down, let the right knee bend slightly. And then take the little side to side, if you wish. Oh. Okay, friends, reset, back to down dog. Let's come to a forward fold. Root down to rise up, inhale. Release the arms. Okay, all right. So we'll take warrior one again with a few add-ons. Let's set up blocks if you have them. That's just the front of the mat. I keep changing which is the front of my mat, but it doesn't really matter. All right, so let's have the hands to the hips. Step the right leg back with the heel down, with both legs straight for a second. And set up like you're on a set of train tracks here. So James, you might widen your stance right to left a little bit. Yeah. And now on the back leg, press the heel down and press it back. On the front leg, let's bend but bow forward slightly. And find that action, the tops of the thigh bones drawing back and also pressing apart. And from there, let's come forward and up with the torso. And again, if you need to have a little bit of a hinge, that's fine. This time, take the right arm straight ahead forward and move the right side of the chest forward. Just let the pelvis be where it lands. And then up with the right arm, up with the left arm. And here we are in more of a classic warrior one. Take a little peek at the left knee, and if it's knocking in, make a little adjustment so the knee tracks forward here. Yeah. Now from here, let's slowly bow forward again, and as you're going, let the left leg go straighter. Hands release down to the blocks or to your floor, or you could keep hands on the hips if coming all the way down doesn't work. Now from here, let's actually do bend and straighten a few times on the left leg. Every time the left leg starts to go straighter, push the heel forward and draw the left hip back and up towards the ceiling. Great. All right, friends, let's pause your version of straight. Move the chest forward here, and you can decide if you're going to just stay where you are, or if you want to walk both hands. Maybe you go outside of the left leg, or maybe that's too much for you and you just do a little bit to the left. Yeah, you decide. All right, now from this position, just go a little bit. Go more towards the pinky side of the foot, so let the inner foot become light. And likely you'll get less of a stretch that way. And now let's do the opposite. Press down through the inner part of the foot. Yeah, keep that. Hug the outer left hip in. And move the pelvis back and the chest forward. Oh, yeah. And that'll really bring some smoke on, huh? Yeah. All right, yogis. Then to get out of this one, let's reset the hands just under the shoulders. Rebend the front knee, sweep the arms back, and then we come up to warrior one. Just a good warrior one. Step yourself forward to come out. Oh, yeah, just move around for a second. And then we'll do that little progression on side two. So, hands on the hips. Left leg steps back, heel to the floor. Start with the leg straight. Press the back heel down and back. And let's bend the front knee just a little bit, bow forward, and take the front of the thighs, the tops of the thighs back and apart. Keep that idea as the front knee bends further, and then the torso comes forward and up. From here, left arm goes straight ahead, pull the left side of the chest forward, and then up with the arm. Take the right arm up to join, and here we are in warrior one pose. Yeah. Okay, friends. And we're coming down, so let's start to hinge forward, and as you do, let the right leg go straighter, hands on something. And then once you find your position here, let's take a few rounds to bend and straighten the front knee. And every time the leg goes straighter, push the heel forward and draw the right hip back and also up towards the ceiling. And that's it. Let's pause with the front leg, your rendition of straight. Move the heart forward, take some of the rounding out of the back. You can stay in the middle, you could go a teensy bit to the right, or you could go all the way, hands outside of the right foot. And then from here, yogis, go to the pinky side of the foot just a little bit to feel that. And now press down more through the inner edge of the foot. Let's hold that one. Pelvis back, chest forward. Hug the outer right hip in towards the midline. Oh yeah, all these lessons come back to this pose. All right, to get out of it, let's reset. Hands right under the shoulders. Bend the front knee, arms sweep back, and on the inhale, we're up again, warrior one pose. Exhale, step forward, and that's that. Yeah, we did it. Anything you want to say?
No. just
Nothing.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Great class.
Yeah, great class. Thanks, Mary. All right, so next we'll use the blanket roll for the calf squasher. Yay. So let me show you how that'll go. You'll keep the roll rolled, and you'll wedge it right behind the knees as high up as you can. And if you can sit all the way up, great. For a lot of us, that's too much. You can stay forward with the hands or put the hands on blocks. I'm just gonna spin around here. Yeah. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And then let's add on by shifting side to side. Oh. And then we'll pause. Push the roll back just a little bit and squash again. And side to side again. Awesome. If you have one more spot, in you go again, another inch or so back. If not, just stick with what you're doing. Every time I do this, it's totally different.
It's harder on my toes than it is on my calf.
Yeah, so what I would suggest next time, we're almost done, go get a second blanket and put it under your feet so that you don't get as much of a foot squashing. All right, guys, let's come out of that, move the roll out of the way, and either take down dog or just take one leg at a time back, just to bring some blood flow into your legs after that. All righty, so let's come sit down with your legs in front of you and the knees bent, just like this. And we'll start, lean back a little bit, cross the right ankle over the left thigh for the figure 4 shape. And then notice here I'm all rounded. So let's press into the floor, and why not do another round of this? Move the tailbone down, and from bottom to top, start to just rise up through the spine sequentially. If you're not getting any stretch in the outer right hip, lift the pelvis, come forward, and then come down, and that should do it. Yeah. Now from your position here, let's take a tiny side to side rock sort of motion. James, can you lift the chest a little more? Oh. Now from here, some of you will come into double pigeon and some of you will come into just Sukhasana. So if you're trying double pigeon, take the left leg, scooch the foot towards the right, and then maybe you're able to stack the shins here. If that's a no-go, just put the shin in front and you'll be in Sukhasana. Yeah. So whatever you've taken, lift the pelvis for a second, pull it back, come down, slide the hands up into the hip creases, press down with the hands, lift up through the spine, and then don't round forward, but hinge forward. Yeah. And once you've hinged as far as you can hinge, arms might come forward. They don't have to. If you like the little barrier, stay there. And then those of you who've hinged quite far over, you want to go ahead and round, do. But if that feels bothersome for any reason, just stay up in the hinge. Alrighty, so let's walk the hands back. Undo the legs, just take them in front and wiggle them out for a second before we do the second one. All right, and we'll start back here, knees bent, left ankle crosses over, and then at first be a little bit slumped over. We'll start at the tailbone, let the tailbone drop down and back, and then sequentially you'll come up through the spine. Once you're in position, if you need more stretch in the left hip, you might not, but if you do, lift the pelvis, scooch it forward. That was too much, and then come down. Yeah. Keep the foot flexed and active. That'll help the alignment of the knee, and take a little side to side. Oh, yeah. Now, James, pause. Try to draw the pinky toe in the direction of your knee. Yeah, there it is. Did you feel that in the hip? No, okay, well, hold it that position.
Long answer.
Yeah, no, it's okay, but the alignment is better that way. Yeah. Sometimes we'll feel more of a pull in the hip too. All right, friends, so we'll come out of this. If you're taking double pigeon, scooch, actually, even if you're not, scooch the bottom foot to the left, and then you could either have shins stacked here or shins crossed, whatever you need to do. Let's lift the pelvis, scooch it back, set it down. Hands slide up to the hip crease, press down to lift up. This might be enough. Maybe you start with a little hinge. That might be enough. Maybe you take arms forward. Maybe you round, but don't round before you do the hinge. Do the hinge first. Yeah. Ready to get out of this. That was intense. Up we come back to center. Gently. Other tears of joy, right? Undo the legs. Give them a little shake out again. Oh, yeah. And we just did a fair amount of pretty big external rotation. Take the legs medium wide and just with your hands, roll the flesh from out to in, creating a little internal rotation. Yeah. Okay. And then from here, friends, let's come down onto your back. We're heading towards Shavasana, but you might need any kind of windshield wiper, maybe a twist. Anything that you want to do is fine. And some of you might enjoy when we get to Shavasana to slide the blanket roll behind the thighs or behind the knees. That might give the body a little more support if you need it. Oh. So however you're comfortable, really, is where we want to be. As you start to settle in here, awareness to the low belly. It was working so hard earlier. See if you can let it relax. The belly just to be moved by your breath. Bring your attention back to your body. Start to bring any kind of movement anywhere. Eventually, let the knees bend. Very gently roll yourself to one side. And from your side, we'll press up to sit any way that you'd like. Hands to heart center. Thank your body for everything that it's able to do. And yourself showing up. Namaste.
Honestly.